If you're feeling a tinge of cringe, then listen to Fox and Lou. Might make you feel better.
Or it might make you feel like poo.
Cringe FM.
Cringe FM.
This is a podcast about being anxious.
Well, a lot more than just anxiousness. This podcast is called Cringe FM.
Yes.
Right, so...
Because we've got endless things to talk about, we think.
We've got endless cringe that we feel inside. If you were to rate how much cringe you feel inside on a daily basis, what number would you give it?
Out of
10.
What? Out of 10.
Yeah.
So 10 being the most cringe one can feel, just dying on the floor and disappearing. I'd say on a daily basis, anywhere between 6 and 8.
Yeah.
On the cringe scale.
And do you ever go lower than 6, though? You must have times.
Maybe a 5. Sometimes there's a 5.
Okay.
Where it's like, I haven't thought about those embarrassing things I've done. Or, I was thinking we should have a theme tune as well for this.
Yeah, we will.
But I feel too cringy to be able to even imagine singing it.
Well, why do you have to sing it?
Would you rap it then? Or would it just be a jingle?
It's funny, your ideas are like pushing the level of what we can handle for cringing. Well,
If you had to freestyle one right now, what would you do?
Oh, God, don't. I'm cringing already. What do radio stations say? They're like your one-stop shop to the cringy life.
All aboard the Cringe Express.
Yeah.
Don't forget to bring a
your
dress.
stress.
Your stress.
Your stress and a dress. Stress and a dress.
Yeah. What rhymes with cringe? Minge. Binge on cringe.
This is a cringe. That's a good. That could work in the jingle.
The jingle.
This is your cringe binge. You
binge. Don't cut your fringe because it might make you feel bad.
Twinge.
A tinge of. If you're feeling a tinge of cringe, then listen to Fox and Lou. Might make you feel better.
Or it might make you feel like poo.
If you're feeling cringy and you like to whingy, come on, Lewis, let me know.
That's amazing.
Sorry. I just want to apologise to everyone. I didn't sleep that well last night.
Me and you, right? I'm happy I've met my cringe soulmate.
Cringe twin. Yeah.
Cringe twin, because I don't think as many people cringe about themselves as much as me. But maybe they do, and that's part of the reason why
is the question.
We're doing this podcast.
Yeah.
I think we actually met in quite a cringy way. The first moment we laid eyes on each other was caught on camera.
It was.
Captured forever.
I'm Lewis. Fox, nice to meet you.
On a TV show called My Transsexual Summer. It was in 2011, and it was about a bunch of trans people, 7 trans people. We were 2 of them, put together in a house and, filmed having conversations. They took us out shopping, bowling.
Seems weird.
It's very weird.
Talking about the plot, like how could that even get commissioned at the time? But it was very popular. It was a 4 episodes, very like peak time that it was aired, and we weren't really sure what was happening really. But and I was at the very start of my transition as well, which is a very cringy time for somebody, and I of course decided to go on national television in order to come out to my wider friends and family, and it was a big mistake because one should never do that when you're going through a process that's so potentially cringy. And I was at the very starts where I was like, my voice was breaking, like I was just not confident at all. And so but we met on that show. And also you were confused. You weren't sure whether I was female to male or male to female or just an androgynous alien.
I wasn't confused.
They made you feel
the producers confused me. I instantly felt very comfortable with you, which is nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very nice. And I felt almost like we'd met before. Maybe we had in a past life,
Yeah.
Well, obviously I didn't know that you identified as genderqueer, but I knew I had a feeling that you were presenting masc, and I kind of assumed you were a trans man like me.
Yeah.
But then the producers took me off to one side and said, "So, what do you think about Fox? Can you tell which way they're going? Like, how they're transitioning?" And I was like a deer in headlights. I was like, I
think they're mad.
I thought, I thought they were a guy.
Being so early in his transition, people struggle to tell if he's male or female.
It's a really awkward time, but it was kind of do or die for me.
I assumed that Fox was a transgender guy. He looked like a guy, so I just assumed.
And then I was like, if I've got that wrong, I'm very sorry. I remember us all sat in the room watching the episodes back for the first time. And then I was just like, every time I came on screen, I mean, I was massively cringing at everything I said.
Yeah.
It's out of your control, isn't it? When we make films now, we're so in control.
We are.
Whereas having somebody else edit you like that.
I always talk about this, but I wasn't able to talk about being non-binary at the time. And so I think the word I was using was genderqueer, and they just said that the Channel 4 audience wasn't ready for anything like that. So I had to very simplify my experience and so on. So I didn't have a brilliant time. That, coupled with the fact that my partner and my family and nobody wanted to get involved with the show, meant that I had very... I think they tried to cut me out, but they couldn't because I was appearing in certain episodes and certain scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a very weird way to kind of expose me to the masses without having the proper context.
We were very naive, I think, going
we're very
into
naive
that show.
with the aftermath. It was 2011, so social media was not as it is now, and maybe that's a good thing because there's not that many clips floating around of us being embarrassing. I know I definitely would like to feel less cringe about myself. I thought it would come with age. Everybody told me when I turned 30 I'll stop giving a shit. That's what everybody said. Yeah.
It didn't happen at all. I'm 36 now. I give more of a shit than ever, to be honest.
Is that true? You think you give
so.
more of a shit now?
Maybe not than ever, but a lot of shit.
Yeah, you do give a lot. That's interesting. Like, what do you care about? Well, I know you fairly well, so I'm not going to pretend I don't. And I know that you do worry a lot about things, whether it's the content you put out there. Sometimes you worry about it after you put it out.
Yeah, and before.
During.
During. When I used to go to events, I would get, and I'm talking career events, social events, anything.
Yeah.
I would get anxious and cringe before I go because I'd be worried about all the things I'm going to do. And then once I did the event, I'd feel really like, oh, it's over now. I can relax. I'm happy.
But you know how I feel.
And you infected me.
I infected you. So basically, when there's an event happening, I will often not really think much about it. It could be talking to hundreds, even thousands of people.
Yeah.
It's mostly all good. I can just shelve it and think, oh, this is going fine. But it's after the event that I start to think, oh my God, I spat on that person, or I didn't know that person's name, or I tripped up at that point and that was really embarrassing, or just a whole bunch of things. And I just want to die with every single bit that I remember. And I put it on a loop and I just torture myself with it. So that is the point for me, that I want to feel less cringe about things that are in the past that we can't change.
How would you describe cringing at yourself?
Oh, I think cringe is an emotion that can take you over when you're completely caught up in something that's happened in the past, either recent past, just happened or whatever, but something that you're vibing negatively off of, that just makes you feel, it's a physical sensation for me, where it feels like it's like every cell in my body is stressed out and my heart feels weird, and I can feel things rising in my neck as well. And it's like you just think, oh no. It's like the embodiment of like, oh no.
That's a good way to describe it. So you feel it very physically.
It's very physical, and it's like being trapped in a loop sometimes. You know, the cringe like can go on for a long time. It's like a torturous place.
The spiral of doom.
Yes, that's it.
And I feel the same, but I think for me, I don't just cringe about the past. I can also cringe in the moment too. Yeah. Like I can be cringing at what I'm doing right now. Are you
cringing right now?
Well, a little bit. Yeah, there's always some level of cringe.
Oh, so what scale on the cringe scale on a daily basis? Where do you kind of flow around?
It goes from probably. I'd say 5 to 10 on a daily basis. It goes up and down.
So all the way to 10.
Whenever I'm tricked, I trick myself. I get tricked into thinking it's a 0 and I'm all happy. And then my brain reminds me of something cringy that I've done or that I'm putting out there in the world, and then it'll go shoot back up.
I see. And he can go from like 0 to 10 immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, and I feel it physically too. It's like I get hot flushes and a dry mouth, and well, it's kind of like it's like having, I suppose, similar to anxiety and anxiety attacks. But I would say that what separates cringe is that it's kind of like, you don't always have to be in that anxious state of mind or that panic, but if as soon as you start to like just think of the reality of things you've done, and it just makes you like grit your teeth and wince at yourself and just wish that you weren't you anymore.
Yes, that's it. And wish you could take it back or do something differently, perhaps.
Yeah. A lot of regret and shame.
Regret and shame.
All synonyms.
Our old friends.
Yes, friends.
Shame.
Shame, embarrassment, awkwardness, regret, doom, a lot of negatives.
Yes.
But the whole point of this podcast of us chatting is to try and turn cringe into a positive, perhaps, or rid ourselves of that cringe.
Yeah. I've told you this before, but my partner, Owl, they say that they don't experience cringe.
I just can't believe it.
Yeah.
Well, I can, because I know Owl.
I know.
And they're a very confident, self-assured person. But I just can't imagine. I can't imagine life without cringe in it myself.
Same. It's unfathomable that somebody can exist and not cringe. And obviously Al has self-awareness and so on, but we're gonna have to get them on as a guest at some point.
Definitely, they can give us a lesson, a life lesson.
What's the definition of cringe? Should we just have a look at that quickly and just see?
Have a look.
What that is.
Wait, is this the Oxford Dictionary definition of cringe?
This is the Oxford Dictionary definition of cringe. Bend one's head and body in fear or apprehension or in a servile manner. And then the example is, he cringed away from the blow.
So to cringe is actually a physical, like,
yes, and that's how I described it as well. Like every cell in my body just dying. I can't remember what I said about it, but
curl up in a ball.
Curl up in a ball, exactly. So that makes sense. So and then there's a secondary version.
Well, so I think sometimes it's good to look up the Urban Dictionary definition, because it sometimes is a bit more relevant. It
gives you kind of a funner version
to life. And so it says, when someone acts or is so embarrassed or awkward, it makes you feel extremely ashamed and or embarrassed. So it's kind of what we said. It's like those feelings of
embarrassment, awkwardness,
all rolled into one big ball of cringe. The word cringe, people debate with me about when this word came about, because as you know, I do all of my Y2K video throwbacks, and my characters say cringe in them. Cringe. And I get a lot of comments from people saying, we didn't say cringe back then.
Well, what did we say instead?
Well, we did say cringe.
We did say cringe.
Proof. The proof exists right here in this Smash Hits magazine from 2003.
That is quite the specimen. I mean, look at that. So what have we got going on the front cover
on
here?
the cover, well, firstly, we've got Avril Lavigne and Pink in the Battle of the Rock Chicks. Just love looking back at these old magazines. But it says in a big circle, cringe. Blazing Squad's most embarrassing stories ever.
Well, Blazing Squad is very embarrassing themselves, but that's funny that they're talking about embarrassing stories. We're going to have to read one of those. I think that it would be great can we read a quote from them?
Of course, yeah,
right,
find it.
I'm going to find it.
In these old magazines, people are so mean about each other. Like, all the celebs are like battling with each other and saying really horrible stuff. Like, I think it was like Avril said in one of them, she's about Britney. She was like, Britney dances like a hoe and all this. Like, awful, just like slating over. You wouldn't get that now.
You wouldn't. There's a lot more support for people. And like, you just wouldn't be outright mean to anyone. If you were, you'd just be seen as a real horrible person. And
I think that's cringy, to be mean.
Yeah, it is cringe to be mean. Does everybody remember Blazing Squad? I wasn't a mega fan. I didn't go see them live or anything, but
no.
they're a band with a lot of members. In fact, we could probably claim to have been members of Blazing Squad now.
Yeah.
I was the 15th member of Blazing Squad. I don't know if you know that about me.
I feel like you look like you could be.
And I went solo, and I've had trouble with drugs and women. So we've got the title of this is "A Bird Pooped on My Head," and we've got different members of the band of Blazing Squad talking about their experiences, and they've been rated a cringe scale out of 10. So apparently this is an actual thing. So I'll just read a random one. I'm going to read Melody. And immediately, so we can see a picture of him there.
Which one is he? That
He
you're
is the
pointing
one.
to?
Well,
that
they
one down
describe
there.
him as Old Peanut Head.
Peanut Head.
Old Peanut Head loves the Smurfs. So I don't know if that's cringe or not, but he says, it's different people are talking about him. So Freak from Blazing Squad says, Melody's got some dodgy records like the Smurfs Go Pop and the Fast Food Rockers single. Okay, whatever. Tommy B says, we were at a party once and he was wearing these really baggy trousers. They're really cool these days.
Yeah.
He was running around so much they fell down.
Okay.
Oh.
So music taste. So I think people do cringe about people's music taste, or maybe your own from the past, right?
Absolutely, yeah. People are very apologetic about their music taste as well sometimes. Like, oh, sorry, I like ABBA or whatever. Or they should be sorry for liking ABBA.
Well, we can't shame all the ABBA
Judge. I know, sorry.
fans.
Okay, so Rocky B says, I shared a hotel room with him once and couldn't go to sleep because he was playing the Britney Spears album too loudly. All right, whatever.
No,
it's all very tame.
I had Britney Spears albums. I liked, I did.
Do you cringe about it now?
No, I'm fine with it, I think. I'm not proud. I mean, I always talk about how emo I was, but I did, of course, I had my guilty pleasures.
Yes, of course, yeah. That's so true. There used to be like, I feel like there was more specific categories we had to stay in your lane back in the day. Like you're either a rocker or a,
or a pop
townie.
princess.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. But
and then you would feel, I'm sure that worked for everyone. I bet there was some like proper trendy girls that
like
liked
metal.
Yeah, exactly. And had to hide it, feel ashamed.
Exactly. So Flavor once said, once we were at school, we were mucking about, throwing stuff at each other. A teacher saw us and we all legged it, but Melody tripped over and got caught. Oh, Melody, they're so they just fall over a lot like a clown, don't they? There's one final one here. Melody, this is his response. So he says, the lads threw me in the pool once. I wouldn't have minded, but I had all my clothes on.
Okay.
So again, it's another clothes caper from our guy, Old Peanut Head, Melody.
So a lot of like physical accidents of falling over, being thrown in, like so.
And poor music taste, and that's about it. He got a 10 out of 10 cringe though, so
I guess like physical accidents are probably quite up there in how embarrassed you get when you fall or do something.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, because we can't control things like that, and awful things can happen when we least expect it.
Some people really laugh. Like my partner Jo, she really laughs at people that fall over.
Oh, but I always have such empathy. I'm like, oh God, because I just think, that was embarrassing for you, and that must hurt.
Yeah, I know.
You don't want to like add insult to injury by laughing at that.
But people do laugh. I mean, this whole TikTok video, there's videos, compilations of people falling over and hurting themselves online. People obviously like to have like a fascination with watching people hurt themselves.
Or cats like having a little, like trying to jump on a shelf and falling off.
I can watch humans hurt themselves, but I can't watch cats hurt themselves or animals hurt.
Or cats being laughed at, bless them. They don't like that, do they?
I would never laugh at a cat. I don't think cats cringe about themselves. I think cats are...
They might do, because I think they self-soothe by licking afterwards.
And they do use... They like to be... use the litter tray in private or go to the toilet in private. They get embarrassed, you know. So, yeah, actually, if even cats cringe, what hope is there for us?
I know, you're right. I don't think dogs cringe, though.
Do you not think?
Nah. This entire magazine is cringe.
It's iconic now. That's something we could talk about. What is seen as cringy at the time can totally... I mean, give it time and it becomes iconic or retro. Comedy, funny, retro. We value stuff.
That's funny, that, isn't it? I kind of like that it can transform and that we can have more grace for ourselves as we get older too. Yeah. And we've talked about this before as well, that I look back on things that I've done, like maybe early pre-transition or just on the cusp of that, and I can't bear to look at it. It just absolutely destroys me. We'll also have to have a look at some of those clips at some point.
We'll have to dig them out.
But you find a way to kind of turn that around, don't you?
Oh yeah, you mean with all my teenage recreation cringe comedy online? Ruining me life. When I was a a teenager or just like at the start of my transition now, it feels so long ago that I'm able to either laugh at it, but I would say laugh at it sounds a bit mean. I actually kind of like appreciate it and like love my past self. I feel like, you know what, you were trying your best, you were cringy as hell, but you were being creative, putting yourself out there, or just filming, having fun.
That's so lovely.
Do you know what I
It's so
mean?
gracious of you to do that, and I wish I could do that with myself, because obviously I feel sympathy and empathy for my younger self and how I was struggling so much, and yet I'm also just like, it's almost like I'm taking on the anxiety and cringe that I felt at the time and tapping into that, which I haven't had to look at for a long time, and it's just too much. It's like it's still there. It's like I haven't processed it in the same way that you have with yours. But
You get second-hand cringe, although it's first-hand cringe. 'Cause it was actually
and
you.
second-hand. Yeah, exactly. First and second hand, so it's double cringe.
Yeah. Well, I think like, but for me though, anything that's too recent is too cringy.
It's
still
still too
And
close.
It's too
Yeah.
close to me, and so yeah. Like I said before, like being an adult, I really thought I'd rid myself of that self cringe, but I don't. If anything, it's just gotten worse, and so I think it has got worse actually. But it's like, yeah, I allow myself the grace when when I look back at myself. I'm like, I know it's cringe, but I don't feel it. I still feel proud of that person. Whereas even when I look back like 5 years ago, that's still too close to now. I'm like, oh god, that was so cringy what I made. Like some of the films that we've made.
Oh god,
I mean, I don't know whether they are cringy. I don't know whether to be slightly proud or whether it's just pure cringe.
They are very cringe, but it's like we put them out there at the time, and we must have thought they were okay for the time.
Which is cringy in itself.
It's cringy in itself, but we had also disclaimers. We were like, well, we made this on a budget of nothing, please forgive our acting and all that, so there is always a disclaimer, whereas I'd love to make something that I'm truly proud of.
Yes, will that ever happen?
Is that
though?
possible? Exactly.
Yeah. I'll be sitting there thinking of like the sketches I put out and just thinking, what am I doing with my life? Like, it's so cringy. I mean,
You've often said that to me after you put something out, and you're going, Fox, I'm freaking out, I'm thinking about that, it shouldn't be out there. And I'm like, no, it's great, and it's doing really well, people are connecting with it. And I think that's what people like about the stuff that you make, that actually they can connect with the awkward or difficult moments that you have.
Well, yeah.
So,
I mean, you've been in some as well.
you know what, I love being in your videos, because there's something, throughout my childhood, I was absolutely forced into wearing tights and skirts and dresses and so on, and not feeling comfortable about the gender that I was presenting to the world when I was in those clothing, because often when I was just in shorts and a t-shirt, I could get away with being seen as a boy pre-puberty. But there was something about having to wear those clothes that felt very torturous. And then by being in your videos and wearing a dress and playing a girl,
OMG, Lois, you can't fit with us.
Sorry, babe, you can't sit with us.
it's so fun now, because I don't connect that. It's not in the same way. Like, you must feel the same
It's
about
liberating,
it.
don't you think? I have a lot of people say, like, does it not give you dysphoria to wear like the wigs and dresses? But it doesn't. Like, I find it like a completely separate thing. Like, my dysphoria comes from my body, but not like the things I'm putting on my body. But although,
Because you know who you are, right?
because I know because I've been able to transition and I've got the body I'm comfortable with.
So now you'd always look like a bloke in a dress, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
Whereas before,
Yeah.
there was that
So yeah,
major risk. Yeah.
exactly. And but I'm dressing up for comedy. So okay, so there have been times like that I've dressed up for my characters actually out and about in public, and that brings me a massive amount of cringe, embarrassment. Like, I hate. It's fine to package it together for a video online, but someone see me in real life. I
I
remember.
know, when you're twerking outside of a diner or something. Like, I just feel like you've done that before.
I
And
definitely
you're like,
have.
did you get it? Did you get it? And I'm like, oh, I'm not sure. We'll try it again. Like,
Yeah, I was swinging around that lamppost with my legs akimbo. I remember being in this club though and dressed as Laura, my character Laura Prinny Queen, in the long blonde hair, and I had like I think it was St Paddy's Day, so I had like an Irish little dress. I don't even know, like this green dress on.
so wait, you went to this club in order to
In Ireland, actually.
In Ireland?
In Ireland on Paddy's
Day to film a sketch, or
film a sketch.
were you there for fun and you were just like doing a little bit on the side?
I was there for fun, but I thought this is a great opportunity to film a a sketch, so that's why I dressed up as my character.
Okay,
so it was
okay.
in this club.
Okay.
I had heels on as well, high heels on, and I was walking down the stairs, like trotting down these stairs in the club in my high heels, like click, 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 and like me blonde hair like this, and then some guy was from the back, so he was like, "Oh, excuse me, love," and just like kind of brushed past me, and then he turned around and saw my face, and then I had a big beard.
What did he look like?
Well, he was so shocked. I think like he thought I was like this little petite, nice looking girl from behind, and then went because he was almost outraged.
Yeah.
He was like angry.
You duped him.
I
How
tricked
dare you?
him.
Yeah.
It's like being trans all over again.
That's so scary.
And it was quite scary actually. I mean, he didn't. He just kind of like went away, but it's just that I think he thought like, because I think he even like touched my waist.
Yeah,
as he
in
went
that
past
way,
it.
in that tender way.
Yeah, and it's just like, because I'm only quite short as well, it just must have really looked convincing from behind that I was this little petite blonde girl.
That is so funny, even with your hairy legs. I mean, obviously women can have hairy legs, but I'm just talking about the whole ensemble with the,
I know.
high
My legs are
heels.
very, very hairy as well. It's funny, isn't it? It's just clothes at the end of the day.
It is just clothes, but I've been with you before when we've been filming a sketch outside your house, perhaps. And I remember there was this guy that was doing some DIY work on a stool, and we went up to him and he said, "Oh, we're just doing a sketch. Is that okay if you're in the background?" Because we thought it'd be quite cool to have like an extra, and he could like give you a look or something. And he was so mad, wasn't he? He was very cold, and he said something very transphobic.
He said about Jesus. He said a religious
he said a
thing.
religious quote, and he was like, "Oh, my religion won't allow this, or it's not right." And and we're like, "What's not right?" Because like,
well, he didn't realise it. He thought I was just like a cisgender guy dressing up as a girl, and said that wasn't right. His mind would have been, if we knew we were both trans guys, he'd have
been like, "What?" I know.
Would it have made it right then if he knew we were born?
Well, that's
female?
what I was wondering. Because like, obviously, he'd expect people born female to wear female clothing, but that was still not right. So I remember one of the first people to see me as a man was this guest at the hotel where I was artist in residence, and he said, we've got this great club, this old boys club where we get a young thing in like you, and we just love drawing the body, the body's amazing, and we'd love to get you over here to this beautiful thing, and we'll feed you a picnic, and you can have champagne, and
nice.
that's right, you just have to strip off. And then
just that one
and then
condition.
we'll sketch you, and we'll make art from you, and it'll be wonderful and fabulous, and we can pay you. And I just thought, my God, can you imagine? I've actually went ahead with that, and I stripped off, and I had like my tits out and everything. Like, this is pre everything, so he'd have quite the shock. And like I wasn't confident enough to like put myself in that position, but they would be expecting
a meat and two veg,
a meat and two veg situation.
Cringing that I just said that.
But it's true. But also strangely satisfying that you saw me as a man. So it was. Yeah, I just was grateful for that, but it was also a very cringy situation because I was like trying to think of reasons why I couldn't go ahead with it without, because I struggle with telling people no. So I think I was like, I'm not sure about that. I'm a bit shy, and and he was like, "Come on, it'll be fine. We'll just put some booze in you, and you'll be okay."
We do both struggle to say no, and I can imagine I might have ended up going along with it and getting that kind of action.
You'd be like, £80, brilliant. Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is funny though. That's one of your like first like gender affirming stories.
I know. Cringe.
What was the first time we ever experienced cringe and became so self-aware that we were embarrassed, of ourselves? Like, when does that start in life that you actually become aware and start to be embarrassed? And
I feel like cringe only really materialized when I hit the wrong puberty.
Yeah,
like,
same.
I think I became really, really aware of stuff then. Probably 10 or 11, I was like, I really wanted to be in the cool crowd. I really wanted to be naughty and be drinking and smoking and
so you were a bad
I was
girl.
I was a bad girl. But only because I was going through the wrong puberty and I was just very confused, and there was just no help or support. So I just turned to the dark side, I think, because of that.
Yeah.
And but my cringe would come from the typical teenage stuff, like, oh, my parents are cringy, I don't want to be seen around them, or but the clothes that I have are cringy, and
so you kind of basically you felt like you wanted to fit in basically and felt like you weren't,
Yeah, I mean, there's not like an incident that I can think of that's a bit like Carrie or something, where she's at the prom. Just remembered a real cringe story. When I was like I was really embarrassed about starting my periods, because I had a sister that was 2 years older. I was stealing her sanitary products for a couple of months, and then I remember my nana had taken our family on a cruise because she got like 75% off cruises because she was connected to British Airways and all this. So she took us on a cruise, and it was on the cruise that I got my period for the third time. And my sister said, "Listen, Fox, like I can't help you out. You're gonna have to just tell them." And I remember like telling my mom, and I was like just really like embarrassed about everything. And my mom came in with like some supersized tampons that just weren't right for me anyway. But anyway, I came out and I knew that my nana had been told, and everyone been told I had my bloody period.
It's like having to come out into
Yes.
like.
And my nana said those words. She said, "Oh, you're a woman now."
Oh.
And I just wanted to die. I just felt like not prepared for that in the slightest.
How old were you?
I must have been 11.
See, that's young, I think.
Yeah. I started early with all that.
So that's traumatic.
Yes.
Because I was 15.
Oh,
so I was
you-
I was
yeah.
like
But you
really
did you-
trying to not just like my willpower stopping it. I
That's
don't know.
amazing. I feel like you might have been able to hold it off.
But then there's the embarrassment with dad too of being late to the party, late to the period party. I mean, you know what? I only started wearing a bra really late as well, and so I felt like everyone else was growing up and I wasn't, which was good. I didn't want to, but of course, so I felt cringy about.
Well, like bra shopping and things.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was cringing at the fact that I wasn't reaching the same level as everyone else, but then also not wanting to. So it was like a double cringe. Like, yeah, double doom.
I mean, I don't come from the kind of family where we just talked about everything, and I wasn't entirely prepared to get my period, even though we'd had the sex education and biology and all of that. But yeah, it was incredibly traumatic, and I think it was that point of doom, kind of knowing that it was going to be arriving on clockwork every month. And
I think that there are a lot of cis women that also hate it, and you know, and I think it's quite a common experience.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you're trans, there's just that extra layer
element
of
of like the body betraying you.
I mean, do you know what? We need to destigmatize the cringiness of periods, actually.
I agree.
Which is why we should talk about it.
It's a natural bodily function, and
It is.
but it wasn't. It just was something that felt very alien to me, and I remember just thinking, I just don't want this, and I equated that bleeding with femininity, and I don't know, just
I mean, having to do it in secret as well, like stealing the pads and things, and then
I would have quite happily just done it in secret and never talked about it for another 5 years. It just was the fact that my sister refused to give me any more sanitary products, and I had to ask for help, and that didn't feel good. I don't know. It was just a nasty time. But I don't want you to feel like I'm traumatized by it or anything. I've done a lot of work around this stuff, so I'm so happy to speak about difficult incidents like that. And I do have a lot of sympathy and empathy and understanding for my younger self. And I just want to be like, it's okay. I know it really sucks, and you've got nobody wants to be cramping every month and all that.
God,
It's
no.
just it's awful.
I think this is when cringe crosses over into trauma.
Yes,
I think
it's a fine line.
It's a fine line.
Yeah.
There is. This is one of the reasons why we wanted to even do this podcast, to literally talk about literally no holds barred. Is that the expression? No, we wanted to just bear it all.
Exactly, for better or worse, because I think being radically vulnerable is the key to feeling less cringe.
Well, it is, and I think if we're so scared to be cringe, we won't ever you won't ever achieve anything or grow as a person. Like, I think you have to embrace the cringe and of the things we've been through.
That's it. That's our mission, and just by sharing it, it feels. I feel lighter already.
Do you?
It's good.
That's good. So, so maybe that story you would have put high up there, like as a 10 cringe.
Yeah.
But would you still class it as that?
It was a 10 cringe at the time, but now I'm looking back on it, I suppose it's like I can have a lot of understanding. So maybe it's more like an 8.
An 8?
Come on, I'm doing good work. It's heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
Ask me in another 20 years' time. Yeah, so tell me, do you have a story from early days that's equally cringe that would make me feel better?
Okay, so this is just something that sticks with me because it felt like the world was ending at the time. Okay, I was a teenager, probably like 13, 14 kind of age, and I knew obviously I was female, you know, inverted commas, and I knew deep down that I fancied girls, but you know I was so ashamed of that, you know, to be seen as a gay girl at that time, right? There was like no one else, and so it's just a real secret inside. So basically, anyway, I'll cut to the chase. So I was on the internet on my old clunky computer in the 2000s, and I got an email from my best friend at the time, and she sent me this email that was like, it was this fancy quiz that you filled out, and then by the end of it told you like who your soulmate was, or it predicted your future or something. I was like, okay, that sounds cool. So I start filling out this big long questionnaire quiz, and it's all these really like personal questions. It's like, who do you fancy? Do you fancy anybody of the same sex? You know, have you ever had a crush on a best friend? Just all these stuff. One of the questions was, do you masturbate? And if so, how many times a week? It was literally like, you know, we were all teenagers at the time. Anyway, so it was all these like questions like this, and I put like, was just really truthful. I was like, well, I want to know my future, okay? and so these questions I put like, you know, that I did have a crush on one of my friends. Yeah. I said that I had a crushes on women, or girls. And so obviously, you know, revealing that I was a lesbian, I guess. And then I answered the question about masturbation. At this time I'd only just discovered it, and I was doing it all the time. So I put this like really high,
like 10 times a week or something.
A day.
I
put that I was like doing it all the time. It was just really honest. Anyway, filled out this whole quiz. Clicked submit, and it said, congratulations, your answers have been submitted to your best friend.
No.
And it was all a scam. Well, it was my best friend, a cruel trick. And then I got to school the next day, having to face her, and also knowing, and I said to one of my other friends, did you get an email from our bestie? And my other friend was like, yes, and my answer's submitted straight to her.
That's hilarious.
Like, so
she did it with you all.
With us all. And I was like, oh my God. And this is a teenager to reveal all of these such intimate things. I was like, oh my God.
That's awful.
I literally, I mean, it's quite cruel, but obviously, you know, she didn't, you know, there's no hard feeling. I mean, she's still one of my best friends. When you're teenagers, you're just dicks, aren't you? But it's the first time I'd ever told anyone that I was into girls.
There's so many things there, isn't there? Like being into girls,
having a crush on a friend,
having a crush on a bestie, and how many times you touch yourself
all the time. I just felt mortified because she was such like a girly, straight, girly girl, and I was like just this like weird
rotter,
weird skanky boy trapped in a girl's body, fumbling around, having crushes and wanking, and like I just. Anyway,
oh my God, I love that.
The most awkward thing is that we didn't say anything.
You didn't talk about it.
She didn't mention it. There was just that air of awkwardness. Like there was no.
She knew. You knew.
It was like she was looking at me, knowing that you know, all of these secrets about me. And I was looking at her back, knowing she knew them. But we just didn't say a word about it. And that's even, you know, awkward in itself, isn't it? So just knowing that she's like, you know, scribbling away all these secrets about everybody, like sitting on them all, you know.
Gosh, the power that she had.
The power.
Wow.
Yeah. The best part of all this is that even though we've got the cringiest stories to tell from back then, we still, even to this day, in our 30s and 40s, cringe all the time.
That's right.
About life now. Will that ever go? Will we ever grow out of our cringe?
And can we find a way, by talking about it, get through to the other side where we feel so much less cringe? And by that I think it means less anxious, less, you know, caught in our heads thinking, you know, on loops like I get about the past,
and hopefully help some other people feel less cringe in the process.
That's
you know,
the key. Anyway, should we do the theme song while we leave?
If you think you're cringy and you like to whingy, come on, listen to our show.
Cringe FM.
Cringe FM. Hard stop.
Hard stop. Just like now. 1, 2, 3.
See you next time.